What I'm going to do now is adjust my wheel down to slow speed. I don't want it to drag, but I want it to be slower. The faster the wheel goes when you're working with a tall piece, it can start to pull that piece out and it can sag or droop or explode from the speed of the wheel. So make sure to cut your wheel down. If you're looking for height, it's always encouraged to get as much of your skirt pushed in as possible. And what is a skirt? Let's talk about that. A skirt is this part of the clay that slopes out. So here, I can see that my skirt starts about here. Visually, this goes up straight and then it starts to slope right about here. What we're gonna do is, I'm gonna hold my wooden trim tool in this fashion. I'm gonna put the tongue of the tool in the web of my finger on top of the web of my fingers, of my hand. I'm gonna have the slanted portion facing my piece. Cutting the wheel on slow, I'm going to use the tip to do the work for me. I'm going to find where I want to start cutting at, and I'm going to do a test cut first. Letting the tool touch the slope, I'm going to go down to the bat, and I can hear when it hits the bat. Once I cut that skirt away, I have a couple of options. I typically like to turn my tool more like a chopping tool. I'm going to come in, slightly angle it toward myself, and chop. And I normally get this off pretty good. Let's do it again, this time taking my skirt off for real. Now, if you wanted to shape your piece a little bit more, you can do this with this tool. Now that we got our cylinder, let's start talking about shaping. When we're shaping our piece, we want to be gentle on, gentle off. So this is the bottom and maybe this is my wall. I want to gently touch the bottom, sliding across it, and then gently adding pressure. It's better to do this multiple passes than to force it all at one time. Let me show you what that looks like. Again, I'm going to be looking at my profile at 3 o'clock. That's what I can see. I can't see up here. And down here, I can't see truly my profile from looking down. So pay attention to this side as I start to shape my piece. I'm gonna use my non-dominant hand to do this. And again, it's gonna be the pad of my middle finger. Cutting my wheel on slow. And remember what we said, start fast and wet, slow and dry. So I'm doing just enough water for my hands to slide. My dominant hand wants to play along, so I always just keep it here, but it's not needed. Notice here, I'm starting to press out. I'm pressing outwards and not down. A lot of times we go in and we're looking for the clay to support our hand. The clay is still very fragile, so I can't rest my hand on the clay. So I want to make sure I'm pressing out and up, out and up. I'm going to get the water out the bottom of my clay. And for today's purposes, I'm going to be making the start of a mug. Notice that my piece is kind of wobbly. That likely happened when I touched my piece too suddenly, which you may do too. So let's even that up. We're going to take our needle tool and we're going to trim this down.